This is a box. What's in the box? Wouldn't you like to know?
I bet very much you'd like to know.
You're right, Professor. We would like to know.
Well, you already know, actually. You already saw the title of the video, so I'm not gonna bother telling you what's in the box. I don't want to waste your time after all, because your time is valuable. Speaking of which, let's not waste any more time and roll the intro. Well, hi there. I'm TechDweeb. Welcome. How you doing? Thanks for clicking on the video. Yeah, this big box was sent to me by someone I met online. The last time I met someone online and let them send me something, it did not go good. After that, I swore that I'd never accept anything in a box ever again. But when this someone reached out to me, I suppose I'll stop referring to him as just someone. They do have a name after all. Dingbat 1967, my new best friend. I don't know much about Dingbat 1967, so I'm gonna make some guesses here. Dingbat, if you're watching this, let me know how I did, alright? With a name like Dingbat, I'm gonna guess that you're a dude. I don't want to stereotype or anything, but I don't know a single girl, or woman, or lady who would find it amusing to be called a Dingbat, and almost every single dude I know would get a kick out of that. Also, Google tells me that was a nickname used by Archie Bunker from All in the Family, which was a show from the 70s. So you have 1967 in your name, and your profile picture is the Tasmanian Devil, which I'm guessing you chosen for nostalgic reasons. So I'm gonna guess that you were born in 1967 and watched lots of Looney Tunes and All in the Family in the 70s, which means that you were a teenager in the 80s, but you're a tech nerd. So you didn't look like the typical 80s cool kids like this. You were into computers and probably Dungeons and Dragons, and you more likely look like this. And now you're 55 and you're considering retiring and you don't understand TikTok and you're disgusted that your nephew doesn't understand how to do the most basic tasks in command prompt. Well, how did I do, Dingbat? Oh my god, why is this taking me so long to open this freaking box? You don't care about Dingbat, you're here for GPU, so let's get into this thing. When Dingbat was gonna send this to me, initially he was just offering to send me an HD 7870 that he had lying around. He thought it would make a fun video to check that out, and I was super into that. But then he started saying that he had other GPUs that he picked up for cheap before the GPU crisis, and I was like, yeah, please, just send me everything. I'd love to check it all out. And that's totally true, by the way. I love testing GPUs. It's a weird hobby of mine. Heck, that's half the reason I made my YouTube channel in the first place. I figured if I'm just obtaining GPUs for the sole purpose of testing them out and playing with them, why not record this stuff and slap it on YouTube? And here we are. I already took a peek inside, just to make sure it wasn't actually a severed head, but I didn't go poking around, so I'm not sure what's actually in here. So this will be an adventure for the both of us. And we're off. Opening the box, I was greeted by the best part of the whole freaking thing. Bubble wrap! I'm sad now. Let's start with this little guy. What do we have here? Oh, okay. This is an Asus HD 5450. Oh my gosh, I did a review on this exact GPU. In that video where I got one as part of a GPU loot box. Did you see that one? So yeah, I know this is not going to be a very good GPU. yeah, that's a old, slow GPU. It's got one of those fanless heat sinks on there. This bad boy has 512 megabytes of DDR2 VRAM, apparently, and a whopping 80 cores clocked to 600 megahertz. Yeah, I don't expect much from this thing. Well, let's see if it works at least. Maybe we could do a fun video with it somehow. Might be good for like a budget emulation build. Maybe. Let's give it a test. However, I think Dingbat said that some of these GPUs might not work. So let's do this. I'm going to toss each of these in my test PC as we go. And we'll see which ones work enough to get into the BIOS and get into Windows. I'll save those, and the best ones I'll use in future videos. And whichever ones don't work, we'll send back to the return address with a special thank you note on them. Sound good? Okay, let's shove this in my test PC here. Gotta take off the bracket, this little profile bracket. It won't fit in our full-size case here. Okay, and we'll fire it up and... come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, we got a post. And we even made it into Windows. Cool, so we have a working HD 5450. That's 1 out of 7. Oh, there's the big boy, that 7870. We'll get to that one last, I think. Save the best for last. What else do we have in here? Let's do this one. It looks pretty big. Oh, yeah, that's a big boy, alright. What is it? So this is Radeon R7? No, R9 270 from MSI. Their twin Frozer model, as you can see. That's a big beefcake heatsink on that. It's in good condition, nice and clean actually. The R9 270 was released back in 2013. It's about equivalent to like a GTX 660, I think. It has 2GB of GDDR5 VRAM and 1280 cores clocked at 900MHz. It's not a monster by today's standards, but it should be able to handle some games at least. I wonder if it has any smell. Can I smell dingbat on this? Nope. No, it smells like old PCBs and plastic. It has some decent I/O at least. Okay, well, there it is. Let's test it out. And yeah, it's working just fine. We posted, got into Windows. 2 out of 7. Good start. I think I'll need to install the proper drivers to get it working good. Probably the Nimes drivers I think would be best. I'm definitely going to make a separate video on this one. Okay, so what do we have here? Ah, a GT card. A GeForce 9500 GT. Oh, this one's dusty. Yeah, that's dusty. That's alright though. Beggars can't be choosers. This is an EVGA model of this GPU. And look at that tiny, adorable little cooler on there. Yeah, these GT cards were actually pretty good budget GPUs back in the day. I made a video on the 9800 GT. That was my first gaming GPU that I ever bought. This definitely won't be as good as that one though. I think this should be better than the HD 5450 though. This GPU is part of the Tesla generation of GPUs. It was released back in 2008, and it has 512MB of GDDR3 VRAM, 32 cores clocked at 600MHz. Okay, maybe it won't be better than the HD 5450. But come on, they wouldn't put this nice cooler on it with some fancy graphics if it was meant to game on, right? Let's see, what was the top games back in 2008? Oh, okay. Maybe we could try to play some Fallout 3 on it or something someday. Xbox 360 era games, I guess. I don't think it'll play modern games very well, but maybe we'll give it a chance sometime. Oh, no HDMI, unfortunately. Just a dual DVI and S-video port. You know, it's ugly, but it's kind of intriguing. Kind of fascinating. A little piece of history right there. Let's see if it works. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, we posted and made it to Windows. This thing is good to go. 3 out of 7, baby. Alright, what else we got? We got one more big one. Let's do these 2 small guys first. Oops. Alright, what's this? It's a little guy. Ah, a GT730. Alright, that's, I mean, it's not a good card, but it's a card. Oh, you know what? I actually have a very similar model from Asus of the GT1030, so that one's like the upgraded, newer big brother of this old slow one. Released in 2014, so it's not that old, to be fair. This is the 1GB version of the card. 1GB of GDDR3 VRAM. 348 cores clocked at 900MHz. So not much horsepower there. And as far as I know, these are still being sold today. Like, you could go to Newegg and buy a new one. And I think they're even still making them, if I'm not mistaken. Which is crazy to think you could still buy Kepler GPUs in 2022. Not really intended for gaming, but lots of people have tried to game on this GPU, especially during the shortages over the last few years. This was one of the few new GPUs that you could buy. I mean, it's not completely useless, but I mean, come on. It's not going to knock your socks off or anything. I think this will be a fun one to check out in a video. Give it a chance to show us what it can do. Of course, we got our ancient medieval VGA port, DVI port, and also HDMI. So come on, it's trying its hardest here. That's gotta count for something. If it works, of course. Yeah, it works. No problems as far as I can tell. 4 out of 7. Next up, we have another little GPU. Oh, it's another one of those. A floppy boy. Alright, what is it? Oh, it's a Zotac. I like Zotac. One of my favorite GPU makers. I mean, not because of the way they perform. They're pretty standard. But I always like the way Zotac GPUs look. And this is another GT730. 2 GT730s. Interesting. Are they different at all? Oh, okay, so this is a 1GB GT730 and this is a 2GB GT730. Both with GDDR3 memory, which is a shame. I'm pretty sure there is a GDDR5 version of this GPU, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this one should perform a little better than the other one. Oh, that might make a fun video. How does the 2GB GT730 compared to the 1GB version? I don't know if anyone would actually want to watch that video, but it might be a fun one. Yeah, I like these Zotac cards. I like their design language. They have a cool kind of futuristic vibe to them, but not in a cheesy kind of way, the way lots of companies do the futuristic look. They're a German company, I know that, so maybe we get a little bit of that sophisticated German engineering design sensibility. So we'll have to take this bracket off before we put it in the PC. Actually, I wonder if the bracket from the other GT730 will fit on there. Yeah, they look about the same. I'd be more likely to keep and use this Zotac GT730 over the Asus model, just because it's a Zotac. So with the bracket off, we're able to shove it in the system and yep, we got through the post and right into Windows. This will need proper drivers, obviously, so we'll see what it can do later in a future video. That's 5 out of 7 right there. And now, on to the other big boy. What's this? Ooh, look at that freaking cooler. Wow, look at the graphics on that. That is a thing of beauty. So this is a GTX 550 Ti. Yeah, the 50 series Ti cards, they've always been appealing to me. They're a slight step up from the lowest end 50 series, so they're obviously made for people who care just a tiny bit more than the bare minimum about their gaming performance. And in my experience, they've actually been a really good value. The 750 Ti and the 1050 Ti were both amazing value at the time, and they stood the test of time too. I've reviewed both of those cards on the channel, and I love them. This one, well, I don't know much about this 550 Ti. Well, that's not quite true, actually. I did watch a benchmark video at one point, and I remember that it does have some problems with modern games, and this one does require a 6-pin power connection as well. The 550 Ti was a Fermi GPU, released in 2011. It has 1GB of GDDR5 VRAM, 192 cores clocked to 900 MHz, and it was definitely made for gaming, as you can tell by those badass graphics on the cooler. This was from that era of when the green on black aesthetic was so slick and edgy, sort of like a Matrix or hacker vibe or something. Oh, and I'm pretty sure this GPU doesn't work. Yeah, Dingbat said it doesn't work, or he doesn't think it works, or something. I can't remember. There's something up with this card. So let's test it out, shall we? Okay, it works. I wasn't expecting that. So wait a second, if this one's not dead, and the 6 out of 7 of these GPUs have worked so far, and I remember Dingbat, he definitely said one of them was dead. And I thought it was this one. Huh. Well, maybe it'll have problems installing drivers or something, or start crashing, or whatever. Hey, maybe we could make a video fixing it if it does. For now, I'm just gonna say that this works, because as far as I could tell, it does work. Alright, on to the big boy. There it is. The Radeon HD 7870. In the original packaging. Windows 8 ready. Oh, that's lucky. This is the DirectQ 2 model. Man, what is with these GPU makers and the dumb names that made no sense? DirectQ, Twin Frozor. Why did they do this back then? Yep, that's some pretty great information they put on the box for you to read in the car on the way home from Best Buy. Excited to put your new GPU in your computer. And if you were like I was back then you get home and shove it in your PC expecting to be able to play some great games, but then you realize your power supply can't handle it and you're left without any fancy games until you can save up enough allowance for a better power supply. That happened to me more than once. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. Oh, sorry Hermione, let me get rid of that box in your face. Okay, let's do this. Oh, maybe we should actually read what's on the box. 2GB of GDDR5 VRAM, PCIe 3.0, Super Ally Power something, and GPU Tweak, which is Asus's overclocking software. Oh look, we got the original unboxing experience. We have the documentation box, which is empty. Alright, that's fine. Dingbat wanted to keep that stuff for nostalgic reasons, I guess. And the moment of truth. There we go. Oh, look at that beauty. It's pretty big and heavy. That's a good side. That means it's good, right? It's got some heat pipes sticking out from under there, like a metal octopus got squished. We got some decent I/O, 2 DVI ports and 1 HDMI and 1 DisplayPort. The 7870 was released back in 2012, but it was like the top of the line back then, I think. Or was that the 7950? Was that the same time as this one? I can't remember. It has 2GB of GDDR5 VRAM and 1280 cores clocked at 1000 MHz. It does support DirectX 12, but only up to feature set 11.1, so I'm not sure if that'll be an issue in those few modern games that require higher DirectX versions, but I'm totally gonna make a dedicated video testing this GPU in a bunch of games, so get subscribed so you don't miss that. At least it's nice and clean. Look at that. How beautiful is that? I really hope this one works. It's gotta work. Dingbat wouldn't send me this whole package if it didn't work, right? Oh, now I can't wait. I gotta know. Let's make sure this works. Oh, alright. We have 2 PCIe power connections that we gotta deal with here. Ugh. Alright, fine. Gotta upset my cable management to get this in the system. I have a 500 watt power supply in this machine, so that should be enough, I think. Alright, moment of truth. Is it gonna work? Yes. Yes! Haha, let's go! We made it to Windows just fine. 7 out of 7 GPUs. They all worked. Oh man, that's awesome. And look at this, it actually worked right away with the latest Radeon drivers that I already had installed. So I couldn't resist. I fired up some Witcher 3 and played for a little bit, and it worked pretty good. I was playing at the high settings, 1080p. I was getting around like 40 FPS in the very demanding area of the game, so that's a promising start. This is definitely the best GPU in the bunch, and I'm 100% gonna make a video on this one. I'm also thinking that I'm gonna do that R9 270, probably that 550 Ti, and heck, let's do that GT 730. That'll be a fun one to laugh at and complain about, which is kind of my style, you know? And that brings us to the end. I gotta say, how cool is this? Dingbat just sent me this stuff for free. What a great dude. I'm gonna have some fun testing out this stuff, and I'm hoping that I'll get out some fun videos in the future about a few of these GPUs at least. As for this video, well, I don't know that it's gonna be helpful to anyone, but I hope it was at least entertaining. Please let me know in the comments which of these GPUs would you like to see me test first. Do any of you have an HD 7870? Or an R9 270, or a GT 730, or an HD 5450. I'd love to know what you think of this stuff in the comments below. And while you're down there, click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or the thumbs down button if you didn't. Subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. As always, I'm TechDweeb, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.